1. Ox Delta 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. We are live. Live, my friend. Live. We are live.
Check 1 2. Good morning.
Hello. Check 1 2. 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 Check 1 2.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, so I gotta find my son and my keys. I need.
Testing 1 2. Test 1 2. What's the agenda?
Well, we got lots of agenda.
Beautiful ones, too.
I think I had asked.
Look at that stunning motherfucker.
Carry that you can stack.
Where's my little one?
Marshall?
You have to put me like front and center.
Does this kind of feel space?
Carry that you can- I'll give him a tobacco for that.
It's kind of weird, you know? I told you the same thing last year. Testing 1 2.
Don't worry about nothing, man. All good. Anybody die? Anybody die? Good word.
Very good.
About it.
Test. What's the drum show about again?
You didn't. You just
Did
read
you
it. You
listen?
didn't listen to it.
No, I knew it was treaty, but I thought it was.
Treaty 6.
That's tonight, right?
That's why we got that special part about the medicine chest.
Hey man, how you doing? Sorry about your loss here. You okay?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah. Drum?
Man, question in, we're gonna make a fire here.
I said the drummer's not even here yet.
I forgot. I got like halfway to here, and I was like, I forgot my drum.
It's okay. I got an extra one.
I brought extra drums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in luck. We got a.
Okay. I'm not used to carrying it with me, eh? Not yet. I've only.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
always.
You gotta give
Your
it a
special
water once in a
drum.
while, and
Yeah.
it's like a person.
So I gotta
It's like a person.
s-
We practice for when you have kids, eh?
Yeah.
We practice it.
Oh, I got a daughter. My boy. It'll have to be my boy.
Oh,
Good morning. How's everybody doing? Pretty good. Good breakfast. Let's give the cooks a round of applause here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Masi na hosia dun zinege no baralyan leo. Haralyan sa Eduaundi about 24 degrees today. Yesterday it was 36 in Saskatchewan here, so I ran off to Alberta. But thank you all for being here. My name is Willis Janvier. I come from the Lush, Saskatchewan, Clearwater River Dene Nation band member. My treaty number is 911. You can call them too, but we're going to get started here at about 10 o'clock. Opening ceremonies. Good morning, good morning. Opening ceremonies. Linda Manus is going to take care of that. We're going to have this live stream on Facebook as well. So put on your makeup, your eyelashes, your cologne, whatever you need to do. Everybody's going to be watching, and we're going to be talking about the meaning of treaty. We're going to start with a drum song as well here. They're going to light the sacred fire this morning as we get things going here, Treaty Days 2024. Talent show is going to be this afternoon, so make sure your throat is nice and crisp if you're going to sing or call a moose. A lot of good stuff happening here throughout the day. If you need a agenda, we've got some up here. Haven't been giving any out. Right in that box somewhere.
Hey, what time do you give him the $5 out?
Treaty annuity payments are going to be till 4 o'clock. That's going to be in the tent outside. So if you got a lot of $5 bills saved up, 11 to 4. Community barbecue at noon. Run and scream competition, stick throw, family portraits, traditional feasts. There's some agendas going around here. So thank you all for being here. Thank you to the cooks. Must-see show to our elders who lifted the pipe this morning so we can have this beautiful day started in a good way. Thank you for all the prayers. Appreciate
Hello. Good morning, everybody. I'm calling all the drummers to make sure to make their way over to the right of the stage area. All the drummers, could you make your way to the stage over here? Is Dwayne out here? Okay, good, thank you. Get your drummers together. We're going to be starting apparently in 25 minutes. I can't see the sun right now, so I can't tell you what time it is. Well, and so everybody that's going to be coming in to the grand entry, could you make your way to the back of the big top here to the right-hand side? With all the flag carriers come over there to the back. All the people that are going to be in the grand entry, could you make your way to the back of the big top here? John? Where's John Minus? I need the stick man. Where is the stick man? Can you come over here? All summer students, could you please come to the stage? All summer students, please come to the stage. Okay, you got a match, or you got that? Okay, now I got a match here.
Just a quick announcement here. 3 vehicles in the way here. Red Ultima, CSL 8846, a white Caravan, CNF 0534 or 0834, black Ram CBN 3298. We need your vehicles moved. They're blocking the police, so you might get a warrant. Just kidding. They're blocking the entrance, so red Ultima, white Caravan, black Dodge Ram. Okay, once again, we're going to get started here, ladies and gentlemen. Grab your seats. Grab your pancakes that are left over. And if you're in Grand Entry, make your way to the entrance. We'll get the show going. Linda Manus is going to be the host of the show here. She doesn't take any word from anybody here. So. Watch out for her. So once again, red Ultima CSL 8846, white Caravan CNF 0534, and a black Dodge Ram. If you can move your vehicle, thank you, Masi, appreciate it. Alrighty, I'll hand it over to Linda. We're going to be live on Facebook here in a couple minutes. So you can let your relatives know to watch us. Hi, not and ask one Masicho.
Masichok, Mr. Janvier. Masi, I'm glad you're here. And everybody, my name is Linda Minus. I'm the Denisukine Language and Culture Director at Cold Lake First Nations. We're going to be directing this, the grand entry. And so it looks like the drummers are here ready to go. If you need any more drums, I have some in my truck. Do you need any more drums? Huh? You're good? Okay, so the order is the stick man is the first guy first, the guy on that's leading the grand entry. Where's the stick man? Stick man, you need to be in front. Come on in front of the group here. And then the eagle staff is behind you. And then the 4 flags behind the eagle staff. And the eagle staff is very, very sacred. Women are not allowed to touch it. So please, women, do not touch that eagle staff. Also, the leaders are to be behind the flags. All of our leaders, our chief counselors, you stand behind the behind the flags. The elders come behind our leaders. Any of the elders that want to join in the grand entry, you can come in behind the leaders. And then all the dignitaries, the invited guests, there's the military, the RCMP, there's the mayor out there, there's Scott Sear. All those people, the invited dignitaries can come in after the elders. And then the dancers come in. And then the end of the grand entry is the community members. If you care to join, you're more than welcome to. Please join in the dignitary, everybody in this grand entry. So what we're going to do is we are on time. Unbelievable. Everybody's here in their place, and I think it's about 10 o'clock. Wa, masia masine sensi. Fathu tezile. Ene ni adu dene thathe tibe tane ne nini. So we're going to have the opening drum song by Dwayne Janvier and some of the students and some of the elders. So Dwayne will introduce his drummers after. If you want to go, we'll have the elder will come. The elder will say the opening prayer after the drum song, opening drum song. Okay. The elder I asked to say the opening prayer is Agnes Gendron here. I heard a yeah somewhere. You're going to do another song? You're going to do an honor song or what after? They have to bring the flags. They have to bring the flags. Okay. After that must take a prayer. Welcome everyone. We are more than happy to have you in our territory. I am going to say a prayer, but it's going to be in our language. So I don't need this microphone. Dorian, okay. Masi nanildan zijan tananidi. Ta noa ashnati. Idariat ana ehteri. Kaniti noa insane. Netsana ehja. Alek. Ore yon beba. They are treason. John no help no what do. No help be new no what de. No help. It's iwaleja. Ore yunta. Assist training. No kana what de sana. Ola twitch uneti training be diwale. John dene daitli. Sesi dani deno. It's a do. No help horoalia. No scan it, the nada no woot, no, it didn't araha, asna the hedal raha, bena be it dauda, untra the benestancy januan, it's in daily. Corelionja, die. Godi nere health gadala na danli, Corelionja, no health, delsi ha. Sesiye dan udu honzo asha sanaude masi ne nilden zedariye zizos pinzidarisi. Thank you. They're going to sing one more. I think we were supposed to have somebody come and do a meaning of the treaty only after, but we'll have an honor song first, and the flag carriers can come and bring the flags up to the front, to the stage here, and set the flags down. The flag carriers, bring up the flags. Masia masi no hene sensei. So if everybody would like to take a seat, thank you for coming in. I have a few words to say regarding our elder that just recently passed away. I was asked to mention that our leaders wanted a moment of silence for in memory of our late elder, Alec Janvier, who passed away this week. I am very honored with all my heart that when he was still fairly healthy and we were at his place, and he told me, he said to me, he said, "You keep on doing the work that you're doing. You're working with our language. Keep working on our language so that it will be strong." Et igalagin na sesni. No heya tria bazi, no heya tria natsari wali. Hokanane dari. No he sinyane jatsi sesni ni. So in honor of our late elder, Alex Janvier, I would like to take this moment for everybody to have a moment of silence. I ask for blessings for his family, for his grandchildren, and all his relatives that are here today. We are all related. I also, I didn't order this flyby, no. So I don't know. It was by mistake. But anyway, we'll have our few words from our leaders. Uh, is Ron here? Are you here from Treaty 6 to give us a small talk on the treaties? Awesome, awesome. That was who I wanted anyway. So Ron Lehman is here. We have the meaning of treaty from the Treaty 6 commission here. So if Ron could come up and say a few words on and let people know what the treaties are all about. Okay, so he wants the chief and council to speak first. So if you could come up to the stage here, the leaders. This is the only time I get to tell the chief and council what to do here. No. So I'm acting smart. No.
Thank you, Auntie. I just want to give thanks for the prayer today by our elder John and our elder Agnes. When talking about treaty, it's very concerning to me. You know, where do we belong? I recently came back from AFN, and I called out Trudeau to tell him come here, and the King and the Governor General, because when you talk about treaty, we have unfinished business. We can't use that AFN or any other organizations to water down our treaty and use them as consent. When you talk about treaty, I asked Trudeau to come here when he talks about nation to nation, because AFN don't speak for us. You know, I got elected as chief as long as my council, so we invite him, so hopefully he comes. It's very troublesome legislation, this Bill 61, the water legislation, because it's not only about on-reserve water. This is about our spirit. This is about our lake, our source water. We always wanted to be our water. Louis Chuck Tui always provided for our people. You know, we never ever wanted to be settled in Le Goff. We were the last reserve to get surveyed. We always wanted to be around town, around the lake. You know, when you talk about water, our first breaths, we come from water. Water is life. Everything's connected, the bugs, everything, the four-leggeds, the biodiversity. You know, and we shouldn't be struggling in our own lands. Today I had a heavy heart. I broke down at the pipe ceremony, thinking about what all my people go through. The struggling, the addictions. I'm no different. I'm no better than you guys, because it hits home with my family too. I try to promote unity, but it's hard within my community too. But as long as I'm here, I'll fight for you guys. I'll fight for what's right. It's hard when you're dealing with municipalities, the provincial government, Canadian government. It's about time we step over our boundaries. It's just not the confines of our reserve. Our people all across Turtle Island. You know, there's a big welfare settlement that has come. I'm not supposed to tell anybody, but it's $47 billion, and how is it going to look when it comes to our kids, our future leaders? But you know what? I can be here all day, but I'm going to lighten it up. We got spayed and neuter task force in Le Goff, so any of you guys want to get your dogs fixed and looked after, it's free. Just bring your dogs down there. And I posted a picture of a dog home to here, but the dog keeps having litters and we can't keep this dog, catch this dog. Keeps having puppies. So I put a $200 reward out there. It started a big argument with my wife. What the heck? This is not even your dog. But I'm trying to help out my elder, you know. I just want to have a good celebration. Like I said, this lake is our spirit. And I'll fight for it to the end. And some stuff we got to make sense of. Everything's rammed down our throat, like I said earlier in my public statements. Forced upon us. Free and prior consent. We need a seat at the table. But I love you guys, all my relatives. And I would pray for my neighbor, my ambulance driver, Jackie. I love you. And all my brothers and sisters. And all the other young lady that died too. And all the ones that are sick in the hospital. So I pray for unity. I pray for all to get along. Treat others how you want to be treated. Masi, and I'm humbled to be here as your leader, as Chief Godri. Masi Cho.
Masi Cho. You know, it's been a couple of years since he's been here. We were all here when they swore him in, and it's good to see all the work that he's doing for us. At this time, Councillor Dion will say a few words.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I want to start today with thanks. I want to thank Creator for another beautiful day, another day we can share together. And I want to thank our drummers and our elder here for starting us off so beautifully. I want to thank you, everybody, for being here together again, once again. Another year of families meeting, reuniting, visitors coming to meet new friends, and just share these memories together. This is something we have to keep dear to us and remember that this is a part of our identity. Because we have to remember not only one side signed treaty, both sides signed treaty. So we have to remember that this is a celebration of that relationship. And we've been keeping this relationship going since signing of treaty. So we have to just, like Chief said, treat everybody like you want to be treated. That's the golden rule. That's what I've seen when I was in, we call it Sekui Honalten Kwe now. It used to be Lagoff. But in my class, there was a rule there, the golden rule. And if everybody treats everybody the way they want to be treated, well, we're going to have such a great weekend. I want everybody to stay cool, jump in the lake a few times, drink some water, and then have fun. Have a great time with your family. You don't get to see everybody as much as now because everybody's so disjointed and far from each other. But this is a time for us to celebrate and to have a fun time. And I want you to all know that I love you guys, and I hope the best for you all this weekend. And thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Masi Cho. Councillor Bernice.
Good morning to each and every one of you here this morning. I'd like to thank the drummers this morning. I'd like to thank the elder for the opening prayer. It's very important that we pray. I'd like to talk about prayer because we forgot about prayer. A lot of us, we don't even know how to pray in a time of need. Because many times I go to the hospital. Many times I see a band member saying, I don't want to die. And I start to pray. I pray in my own language. I say to our Father and all that. I'll just pray. But in saying that, I would like to say at this time and point, love one another, care for one another, forgive one another. For life is too short. Our life is just like a lightning. 1 minute you could be here, next minute you'll be gone because of the heart attacks. So when saying that, learn to forgive one another, learn to help one another. Like what I see here today, we're growing, this reserve is growing really fast. and there's not that much elders left. And our language is dying very, very slowly. Thank God I could still speak my language. When I was a child, we used to speak only Deneo Unitay Aitine. So when we used to play. So we used to just talk Dene. We did not they talk us English, but yet that was seated in us to talk Dene. In saying that, I'm so grateful. That's my degree, is the language. In saying that, teach your children one word a day in Dene. Some way, somehow, get the message across. Because we're going to lose our language. I feel like even me, myself here, standing here as a leader for what I see here today, it seems like now I'm rushing. But treaty is very important here. That's why I always wear this treaty suit. I'm very proud to wear this treaty suit. I always remember my late Uncle Francis. You know, when you go to big gatherings like this, wear your treaty suit. And what he told me one time too, I didn't know I was going to be in leadership. He told me this, as long, the government is going to do everything to us, ahene. Since the signing of the treaty, he said, they've been fighting us. Every which way we could give in to the government. But I'll tell you, he said, the treaties is not negotiable. Remember that, Bernice, he told me. Till today, I still keep his words. And at times, sometimes, as leaders, it's so heavy on us. We need your support. And one thing I was told by an elder one time, whoever is chief, always support them. Even though you don't like that person, support your chief. That's what we were told. And that's what I do till today. I support every chief. I've been strongly supporting Kelsey. I go along with him. I help him. I'm teaching what I know. I love you all. You guys go swimming and make sure. Never mind. I was going to say something, but never mind. But anyway, you guys have a good weekend. Take care of one another. Love you all.
Thank you. Thank you. I can't speculate what she's going to say, so we'll hand it over to Liza.
Ho salotine. Masicho ni hosini for this great day. I thank the elders, Agnes Gendron, for saying the prayer for us today, and all the flag carriers and the meaning of all those flags. It has been a hard week for the community. We lost one of our well-renowned elders, and and it hits home with your heart, when you have to deal with that in your family. So I send all my prayers to the families. Today we didn't have Jacinta Janvier with us. She has a family emergency in Calgary, so that's where she is. And Travis Machatis is at the Cold Lake First Nations golf tournament. I also want to say, I remember an elder telling me a story about Treaty Days and why we always have it around the second week of July. It's because every year when all of our, a long time ago, when all of our elders and all of our community members used to live up on the range, up on Primrose Lake, they used to hunt and trap and everything all through the winter. And they never really got a payment till the end of June. So around the end of June, that's when they all get together and they got all their payment from selling all of their furs and everything up north. And they always celebrated around the second week of July. So that was what the elder had told me, and one of the main reasons why we always get together. The treaty grounds here, we actually used to have treaty days on the Lagoff Reserve all the way from the church, all the way along the river. And I remember treaty days back then, and I do remember swimming in that river and having everybody all along the river in their tents. They used to always play hand games on boards. They never had drums. They used to play it on boards, a whole bunch of them. They used to sit, and everyone used to just, bet and play money and everything like that. And it was always good to hear that because I remember hearing it in my ear. I also want to say, even having treaty days here, it's always so great because everybody gets together. We see faces, new faces, old faces. We just, sit and talk with each other. And, and it's always a good time to spend time with family and friends. And masicho to whoever the organizers are of treaty days, because we always know it's a big, huge event, and all the people it actually takes to make this event happen. So thank you to Daniel, to everybody that organizes treaty days. Masicho.
Masicho, Eliza, and then last but not least, Loretta Surunianoba.
Masi. First of all, again, too, I'd like to thank Creator for a beautiful day. We were talking about it this morning, my sister and I, and how lucky we've been almost every one of our celebrations that we've been able to have great weather. Creator shines down on us so we can celebrate and enjoy our families. I want to thank the elder for our prayers, our drummers, Masi, Dean, Dwayne, I mean. For our elders that are here and help walk us in, for our carriers, Linda for hosting. There's so many things as I was going through to be thankful and grateful for. This last couple of days have been emotional. We lost a great leader, well-respected man that was close to my heart. But I also thought, as I'm coming in to see, and I remember the first time coming in and sitting on these chairs with our leaders and as we got inaugurated and treated it as a celebration and knowing it's important. But sitting here in this spot, we realize how important it is. The fight that we have able to maintain, we have so many, like the governments, the crown, to honor our treaties. When we on the celebration, it's our life. It's for our children and so on. As long as the sun shines, the grass grows, the rivers flow. And so I want to thank everybody for here, Mayor, the RCMP, the military, and our dignitaries that came in to celebrate with us. We're in a community where we all need to work together, to celebrate together, to plan things in the community together. Masi. And I want to thank everybody for coming in. And I want everybody to enjoy their day. And I especially want to thank, my colleagues, Chief, your courage, witnessing him out there, fighting for our rights, fighting for our people, fighting for everything that we stand for, holding the love in his heart for our people. Masi for who you are. And my colleagues, the support that we have around the table. It's not easy being there. We have different ideas. We have different goals. We have different mindsets sometimes. But the one thing I can say is that we come to agreements and we come to respect each and every person. And I really want to thank each and every one of them for the support and the love that they have for the community. Masi, each and every one of you. I want you all to have a great, fantastic weekend. And I want you to celebrate and watch one another, watch our babies, keep them safe, and have a good day. Thank you, Masi.
Thank you, my colleagues. And Mayor, we didn't forget about you. So you'll come speak after Ron and any other dignitaries. If you want to come speak, you're invited to come speak. I don't know where Justin is, the ISK guy. Maybe he'll give us an update about our school, but I'll call Ron upon the stage, tell us a little treaty education here. But thank you again for the day. And thank you for coming to our celebration. And let's have a good one. Masi.
Ako no ako magantik kakyo tamskat na mina miasno me isichigi iskaskita akman nisanan kui pituh tanan yoguma iniganastai asotamaton wi chigion kagis wi chigi chik musumpanno ko kumpanno kayas. Good morning, everybody. Really glad to be here with each and every one of you. And my elders, my old people, my late brother, Chief Al Lehman, he was very, very adamant that whenever you speak to anybody about treaty or anything important, that you should use your language first. And unfortunately, I don't speak Dene language, but I do speak Nihioewan. And I know some of the older people understand me, but it's really great to see this type of a celebration. And I keep reminding myself that, this is the foundation of who we are here in this part of Turtle Island. And my name is Ron Lehman from Beaver Lake Cree Nation. I have two Cree names. Kapapamaguchin, I was named after the sweetgrass. When you light it, it goes all over and blesses people. The elder that gave me that name was very well known down in Rocky Boys, Montana. He's a Cree elder. And when he gave me that name, he said, it's because you're doing work for our people. You go different places. You go across the ocean to Switzerland, to Geneva. And he said, for that reason, that's why. And then later on, my brother Jerry Saddleback, he's been gifted with giving names to people, children especially, and older people too. It's always open for you to get your name, whether it's Dene or Cree, Anishinaabe, whatever it might be. He gave me the name of Kisagoksin, so that means sky elder. And I guess that's the way he dreamt about me. But enough about myself. I've been doing treaty work for a long time, going on 50 years, 50 plus years. And when I first started this work, I used to hear the elders, like probably the elders that did the ceremonies this morning. Apologies for missing it. But they said, well, someday you're going to have children. You're going to have grandchildren. And of course, when you're young like that, you say, well, that's a long time away. All of a sudden, it catches up with you. And now I'm to the point in my life where I have great-grandchildren. So I have a real vested interest in this work. And when I started this work, I was just as young as some of your young leaders here that you chose. And when I was in school, much like here, probably with the young people that are here, and much like the chief and Bernice, the elders are the ones that encouraged me. They would talk to me, and they would say, we're so glad that you're going to school. So you got to keep doing that. You got to go to school and finish your education. And then remember us, come back and help us. We need help here. So I did that. And I remember many elders that gave me that guidance. And way back in late 70s, mid 70s, I just saw him here. One of my friends here, Mr. Piche, Tommy and Johnny, the twins. We worked together. We established, I guess, a lot of groundwork in communication. Now, just the other day, I was just telling one of the young people, APTN should have been here because back in the 70s, we're way ahead of everyone else in communications. And we had a handshake agreement between us and the Métis. And something went sideways there, and things didn't go as planned. And as a result, everything shifted to Manitoba. But just to let you know that the people here in this part of the country were pioneers in this satellite communications. Now everybody has a satellite, everybody, utilizes that medium. But we were just young people back then, and we learned a lot, and we shared a little bit of what I'm talking about to northern communities. We put these huge satellite dishes up in Wabasca, Fort Chip, Dene Tha, northern isolated communities, and we're able to talk to the people at the community level. That way, it wasn't so sophisticated as today. You talk to them, but you can't see them. They can see you. But now that's all been fixed with the new technology. There's everything that we need today. But that's where my work with the elders started. During that time, I interviewed many, many elders, and believe this or not, we had to hitchhike around. Very little money that time. If we were lucky, we could catch a bus. There was still buses. And then we'd go to a community that has elders that are knowledgeable, knowledge keepers. And we would interview them. And that continued my learning process. I learned a lot about treaty when I was a child from the old people. My grandparents were part of the leadership, my great-grandparents back in Beaver Lake. And so I continued that, and I went to college for communications. I became a pretty good cameraman. Almost got lost over there and did that kind of work, but I couldn't see myself limiting the knowledge that I received to something like that. And so the elders' interviews are what really caught my attention. So we interviewed many, many elders, and they told us about the treaty. They said that when the commissioners and the people from the east came over here, they were the ones who wanted to have a treaty with us, the Queen's people. They were the ones that came to our territory here, and there were certain things that they wanted. So our elders agreed to sit with them. And in our case here, it was in Fort Pitt. In Cree, they call it Waskaikansik. I'm sure in Dene there's a name for it too. But that time our leaders went to Waskaikansik, and they sat down with Commissioner Morris, and they had the treaty discussions that time. And it wasn't like they agreed to everything at once. And as mentioned here by the leaders, prayer is a big part of who we are. They would listen to the commissioner, and they would call for time. They would go off and they would speak among themselves, and they would pray about what they heard, and they would have a good, thorough discussion whether or not that's what they wanted. But one thing is very, very clear, relatives. What they agreed to, and then went back to Upper Canada, what they agreed to was not what came back in the written text. And I've interviewed probably hundreds of elders in my day, and not one of them did I hear say that we gave up this land, that we sold it, that seed release and surrender was never told to the people at the gathering. And I'm sure it's true with most gatherings. And if you look at the history, even the written part of it, and you look at Morris's notes, when he went back over there, his colleagues and higher ups asked him, well, did you talk about the land, the seed release surrender? He said, no. If I would have put that out there, we would never have a treaty today. So what our ancestors agreed to and what came back in the written form is not what we agreed to. And many of us today, that's what we're working on. And like Chief Kelsey, I just came back from Montreal. And that's another, I'll just share a little story with you. One of the elders from Ermineskin, a good friend of mine, he looks at the Cree language and the words, like for example, Muniao, that's what Crees call non-Indian people, white people, Muniao. So he said, you know what? A long time ago when trappers would come to the West and they would meet with our people, they would say that they came from, and a lot of them had the French accent, they would say Montreal. And to our way of thinking, it sounded like Muniao, like that. That's one version. The other version is Muiniawa. That means this one is not mine, doesn't belong to me. So those are the versions in our history. But when they did come over here and they entered into this treaty, and many of our elders insist that we didn't sign the treaty, we entered into it. And there's a term in Cree, it's called Etah Kuningichik. So what that means is back then they used a quill, an eagle quill, and ink. And they would just touch that quill, and the actual Indian agent or the secretary or whoever it was would actually make the mark. And there's been studies done. Those X's all pretty well look the same. It was made by the same person. All our people did is they touched the quill, and that's what it means, the Etahkunin gate. So I don't want to speak too much more, but this treaty that we're celebrating today, that you're celebrating today, is so very, very important. Like the young people, I want you to know that this land is still ours. We never gave up this land. We agreed to the people that came here that we would share this land to the depth of a plow, so that the people that came to our lands could be able to make a living for them and their families by agriculture, and taking, and they were very, our elders were very specific on the trees that they would be allowed to take too. And I don't have time to, give you the whole Treaty 101 today, but there was elders that I knew that were good friends of mine, like late Peter Waskahat. He was very, very meticulous on what the promises that were made and what our people agreed to. Only certain trees so that they could make homes for themselves, and he would name those trees. And so it would take a long time for me to stand here and share with you the knowledge that was passed on to me by the elders, but I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the opportunity to come here. And my wife always tells me, well, you got to share it with your grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and that's up to me. But lately keep us so busy. We went to Montreal, and we had to do a lot of lobbying. And I really thank Chief Kelsey and Chief Lehman, Chief Gary Lehman, and an elder we call the Iron Lady. She was there on behalf of Sutina. And they would get up and they would say, no, this is what we want. No, you can't do that. AFN is a Canadian corporation. You cannot allow the chiefs to go under that. Chiefs and the nations are sovereign people. So it was a big fight, and we weren't sure how it was going to turn out. And then the proponent of that resolution was one of my friends from a long time ago. He wouldn't give in. Kelsey went and talked to him, and he was very adamant. So it went to a vote. And usually in these forums, things are adopted by consensus, but there was no consensus there. So when the vote came, guess what? It was a landslide on our side. Many of the nations don't want to go under AFN. And the way the resolution was written is that the executive, which is the regional chiefs from each of the provinces, would be above your leaders, our leaders here, like here, Coal Lake, Beaver Lake. And we just couldn't do that. And we explained to the people why it's important for us to keep our treaties separate, keep our treaties sovereign. So I know I've been here too long, up here too long already, but I just want to encourage you. And my journey took me right across this country, all over the world, to other parts of the world, to Geneva, Switzerland, New York, to other nations where there are indigenous people, the Aboriginal people of Australia, the Maori people of New Zealand, they call it Aotearoa. And right now, those people are having a very, very hard struggle. And we went to New Zealand back in 1981, because that's what the elders said. We can't find justice here in Canada, so reach out. Go to other indigenous nations of the world. Go to these forums like the United Nations, the Organization of American States. So we did that, and along the way we met people, and you probably all know this now with social media and everything else. Information is at your fingertips in just a minute or so. You probably know the struggle that's happening in New Zealand. All the gains that the Maori people made in the last 40 years with the stroke of a pen, that's been clawed back by the government. And right now, the government of New Zealand is involved in an exercise where they're taking all of their legislation, policies, and all that, and taking any reference to treaty out of that. So, and where it started was in Australia. In Australia, they had a referendum whether or not the Australian people should enter into a treaty with the Aboriginal people. And it was resounding no. Of course, they're the majority, and they decided not to have a treaty. And I think the next step in New Zealand is they're going to do that too. So we over here, we have to be careful, because these countries get together. The ones that voted against the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, the declaration that we worked so hard on. And I must have spent 25 years going back and forth to the UN and being there when the declaration was elaborated. I wasn't there when it was adopted at the General Assembly, but one of our workers, she's the executive director of the International Indian Treaty Council, she was there. And when the vote took place, she called me, and you could hear a big applause in the UN General Assembly. And she said it passed. There was a few abstentions and only a handful of people that voted against it. Guess who? Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the United States, and a couple of others. So, and they're called Kansas. They call themselves Kansas. They still meet because of their similar background tied to the monarchy in Great Britain. But to make a long story short, we have to be very diligent here in protecting the treaty. And that's why I'm always glad that a prayer is said before we talk about this. That's so very important. The young counselor here that said, it's not only us that were party to the treaty, but also the non-Indigenous people here. But the Creator was a witness to that sacred undertaking. And we have what we call the sacred pipe stem here. It was gifted to us by Ximanto. It wasn't man-made. And so that's why it's so important that we carry on the best way that we can to ensure that our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, and people in the future will still enjoy the rights that we have. Like, for example, and I'll end here, there's a lot of things that Canada's putting out there for us to look at, whether it's water, many, many things. We, as the protectors, have to be very, very careful, because when our ancestors entered into the treaty, they prayed about it, and they guaranteed a lot of things for us. That's why we're still here. And when government hands a carrot to you, you got to be very careful, because there might be a big stick there to hit you on the head. In Cree, there's a saying about that, about getting hit with that big stick. So we got to be very careful. Like for example, the agricultural benefits. Everybody is calling it cows and plows. Well, I always tell people, if it's for loss of use and past harms, no problem. They owe it to us. But to sign anything that says indemnify and save harmless forever into the future, we don't have that right, people. Our ancestors didn't do that to us. And us, if there's anything that's being handed to us that says we'll forever relinquish the rights of our future generations, no, we can't do that. Loss of use and past harms, yes. And you know why I'm saying this? Is because we have less than 1% of all the country, this whole country of Canada. And if they're trying to say, oh, there's no land to give back to you and all that, well, it's not true. You know, when our ancestors entered into treaty, they didn't mean for us to be beggars in our own land. That wasn't what they wanted for us. They wanted us to have a good life. And we, of this generation, we need to ensure that our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, and into the future, they can have that good life too. So I want to thank Coal Lake, Chief Kelsey, and Chief Lehman, my son. He was my late brother's son. So in the Cree way of relationship, he's my son too. But I want to thank them for bringing a very big undertaking here, right here to this very spot, this whole treaty grounds here. August 26th to the 30th, there's going to be leaders here from all over the nation. And they're going to be talking about this very important thing that holds us together, and that's treaty. And we need to collectively strategize how we can deal with this assault on our treaty rights, because that's what it is. And one closing thing, like this air weapons range here, You know, it was our land collectively way back. And again, they do things with the stroke of a pen. They set it aside, was it 50 years? I believe it was. And then when the lease expired, we can't even get back in there. You know, that was our hunting, fishing, trapping, and gathering territories, all of us collectively. Who gave them that right to block it off again or keep it remain blocked off where we can't even go in there? The only ones that are having the benefits are the major oil companies. They're the ones. We're not against development, but we have to be consulted as Indigenous people. It's called free, prior, and informed consent, and it's an internationally recognized part of the rights agenda. So I won't say too much more, but I want to be able to enjoy these treaty days with you, and I thank you all very much. Have a good weekend here. And finally, I'll say, I know it's really hard on my wife's family right now, and Dwayne here and his family. We heard what happened when we were still in Montreal, and they had a moment of silence in that huge gathering, and I really appreciate people like our late uncle and how he reached out to the world, world-renowned. Many funny stories about when he was in another country that didn't understand the English language, how they treated him. Sometimes they played a good one on him. He was telling us this one about this guy that was a waiter or maitre d', whatever he was, come to him and he would point out what he wanted. And I guess after a few days, weeks, he was almost starving. So on the last day, when he was going to be leaving, the guy comes up to him and speaks to him in English. Oh, can you imagine how he must have felt? But he shared many good stories like that with us, and we remember him in a good way. We know he's in a good place. He worked to deserve that. So, in memory of him, you know, I know he would want you to enjoy these treaty days, and our prayers are with the family. So thank you very much. Hay hay nanaskuman.
Must Cho, must Ron Lehman no by out Habanashlian is no by Altia Dun Zinege no ya theater Duhu banana heath derla. Antlene the day Altia Dunga be Duna Kate Zinedazan or Antlene the Hulla Thai Nala. Duhu not case sa ta zersa Antlene the Halayas tit out Habanashlian is your que. Dol nila no hel. Sais nensent out Sambanashlian is here, Lagbro Sheu Taduli, a not a Danisi. Quentin, Tsi Daddy, Sambanashliania. Au Sine, Lukenuni 30. Quentin as a delut at Sambanashliesi. Bezit is not Siul Tunisa. They check for T Butte, I dad dasi. I roll to Sambadan Halieni. Ansne the Dolni. Torlunge Sadunla, Northern Saskatchewan's and the Koradu, Good Treaty 8, Treaty 10, Torlung Etcha, out Sambanashlianesi. So, Yaze Honi, it's a little bit in our language as, you know, when they sign Treaty 8, Treaty 10, a lot of people, they say the elders, you know, it's been 125 for Treaty 8 and 158 Treaty 6, 158 years, something like that. 148, 10 years ahead. But You know, they say that when they had to travel back in the day, they would have to get checked for TB before they. So there needs to be a lot of, you know, Chief Kelsey talked about is truth and reconciliation. There's a lot of truth. It gets heavy in these things in the mornings, especially, and we need to talk about these things. That's the history as Indigenous people. It's not just about the $5 bill, but some of the atrocities, we'll call it, you know. So it is a lot of work for them to travel to Ottawa and all these spaces. So it's good to have the non-Indigenous people here and to hear that stuff, to feel it, because we lived it. We are still living it. Thousands sa alut one yod out days helli. You know, it's the river's not going to stop flowing, and we're not going to stop talking about these things here. And as you listen here and join us this morning. So I want to thank you for everybody that spoke. At this time, I'm going to call upon Mayor Craig Copeland to say a few words, and then Mr. Sear, we're going to get to you next. And then that's going to be our speakers. We're going to close off. Oh, yeah, we've got our representative from which wing is it? Which Musja 4? In Musja, I live in Musja. We're 15 wings, so we got the snowbirds. So Mr. Craig Copeland, Mayor Copeland, let's give him a round of applause here, ladies and gentlemen.
You gonna say anything, Ben? I usually get invited, or before I speak, Linda usually says a few words, but you know, on behalf of the city of Cold Lake, we're just honored to be here. As mayor, I think I come to every treaty days, and over the years, you know, I've worked with the various chiefs that are elected, and our relationship, I look at it right now as probably as strong as it's been ever. And so, you know, we're here as a city to you know, enjoy treaty days, but also to look at, as a mayor, I always look at the future and try to grow the community, whether it's, you know, inside Cold Lake or here in the nation, is to grow it for the future generations. And, you know, I think that we're in a really good spot going forward here. Certainly we have some issues. The chief talked about Mr. Trudeau, and we won't go into that. But, you know, we wish he would pay his property taxes. But anyways, you know, I think when you look at the young people here in our area, you know, the education, I think that the future is going to be very bright. And I really like what Cold Lake First Nations is doing, is trying to encourage the young people to go to school, but also to come back here and work on the nation. And, you know, many people don't know this, but Cold Lake First Nations is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, commercial developer inside our city. And they employ a ton of people inside the city itself. And so, you know, we're working with them on a different venture here right now to try to see what more we can do. And certainly we're blessed here with the beautiful lands that we have. And what can we do with it, not only to preserve it, but also to make it benefit from an economic standpoint. I just want to touch on something that's, you know, the chief talked about neutering. And I was sitting there and neutering, and I don't do Facebook. I don't do, and for those that don't know, I don't do any social media. That's why I don't have any gray hair. But when he talked about neutering and the dogs, and I thought, man, that is cool. As a council, that we can tell dogs that they really aren't allowed to do that. And I was thankful as a mayor that I got neutered before I became mayor, because I remember that experience. It still haunts me. And thank God I wasn't the mayor, because I can imagine those nurses in that room. And, you know, like, let's have some fun with this guy. But, you know, anyways, you know, I hope we have just a great treaty days here. I'm sure your fireworks will be better than our fireworks. We already given you that mantle. And tonight, I seen the program. Yeah, we can't compete. But, you know, drones tonight, that's pretty cool. And last year you had the drones, and it was very successful. But, you know, in closing, I just want to say on behalf of everybody in the city of Cold Lake, we've lost, you know, an amazing individual here on Cold Lake First Nations. You know, very lucky as mayor. I get to meet a lot of people, and Alex was just an amazing individual for me, and we're going to miss him so much. And I wore this shirt special for Alex because it's about the closest shirt I got that can sort of represent his art and his spirit. And we're going to miss him. And Dwayne, we're everybody loves him, and we're here for your family and whatever you need. If you need our facilities, please let us know. Thank you.
Masi, thank you, Mayor Copeland. This time, MLA Scott Sear. Let's give him a round of applause here, say a few words.
Hello, everyone. Isn't it a beautiful day? Lovely day. You know what? When it comes to treaty days, this is one of my favorite times of the year. It's usually in the middle of the summer. We've got time where we can spend with our First Nations, just really creating that unity for our region. Now, for me, it's an honor to speak on behalf of the government of Alberta. Danielle Smith, Minister Wilson, and myself, Scott Sear. You know, I will say that your council is fierce advocates for the Cold Lake First Nations. Let's give them all a hand because they deserve it. Chief Jacko, the rest of the council, I'm going to tell you, they put me through the ringer about, what was that, last week, it seemed like? 3 hours bringing forward Cold Lake First Nations issues. Clearly, I want to be able to hear and advocate on your behalf to get stuff done. And I will tell you, they're making sure your voices are heard loud and clear. Whether it's healthcare, whether it's crime, whether it's paving the roads, whether it's your children, C97, 92. You know what? I heard it loud and clear. They are your greatest allies and your greatest advocates. Thank them. Thank you so much for doing that. Now, we have seen some successes in the last little while. We just opened the Truth and Reconciliation Court over in St. Paul. That's the court that's going to allow First Nations to have input when crimes are committed. We've got Justice Ladouceur, who's moved that forward. And I'm going to tell you, that's revolutionary. That's the first time something like this has been done in all of Canada. And that's right in our area. So I'm going to tell you that is something that we all can be proud of. We also had some money going to your local health clinic, $450,000 over the next 3 years. That is also a commitment done by the government of Alberta. This is good for all of us. And you know, when it comes down to it, we've got some remarkable amount of commitment to even looking at your roads. Your chief and council came to Edmonton, and you know what? They wanted to see the Frog Lake Road paved, and the Minister of Transportation agreed to getting some design work done there. I'm going to tell you, when it comes down to it, they're getting stuff done. So you've entrusted your nation in good hands. And I look forward to working with them hand in hand, making sure everything gets done. So thank you, everyone, and enjoy Treaty Days.
Masi, MLA Scott Sear, you got my vote. Just kidding, I'm from Saskatchewan, so yeah, don't count on that one. So at this time, our representative here from Four Wing, Alexia Hannum, is going to say a few words on behalf of Four Wing. So let's give her a round of applause here. Thank you, Masi.
Thanks so much. Good morning, everybody. As you said, my name is Alexia, and I'm the Deputy Wing Commander, and it's my absolute pleasure to be representing Four Wing at this absolutely phenomenal event. I've been on base in Cold Lake for the last 9 years, and I personally have really seen a growth in positive changes with the relationships between the Indigenous community and the base. Some of our big changes that I've seen have been opening the radar and showed us their different. It was just really special for me. I have a 6-year-old nephew who's Ojibwe, And he's been hoop dancing for the last 2 years, and I'm always so proud of him when I get to go watch him do different events. So I have a bit of a family tie to the Indigenous community now. And since I'm pregnant with our second child in September, this is one of the last events that I've been able to attend. Thank you. Wasn't expecting a round of applause, but I'll take it. Yeah, it's one of the last few events as the deputy wing commander that I get to come and represent the base. So it's really near and dear to my heart. So I feel just completely honored and privileged to be able to do so. I hope everybody has an absolutely fantastic weekend. Thank you, Masi.
No, you're good. Well, thank you for accompanying her up here. Appreciate it. Thank you, Four Wing, Cold Lake. You know, all the people that came up here to speak. I appreciate all your kind words. And it's a beautiful day. The sun is going to be shining here too. That means treaty is going to continue on, and we're going to get our $5 bills here shortly. Just a couple announcements here. The cleanup crew, 12 o'clock, you start up. Anybody that signed up, the grade 12s, I do believe, or the summer students, cleanup crew, you're going to start at 12 o'clock. And then your grade 12 grads, you're going to get your jacket at registration this afternoon. So at this time, that is going to be the end of it for our opening ceremony. So I'm going to call upon our Suchotwe Dene drummers to the stage, and we'll close it off with a song. As if you want to dance here, you're more than welcome. It's a beautiful day to get this going. There's going to be a drum dance here tonight at 7 o'clock p.m. as well. So we've got big area here if everybody wants to join us as we gather in unity here today, as the chief talked about. And that's what it's all about. That's what that circle represents. As you know, we hear the drum, it brings us together. And shout out to Mr. Janvier here for always bringing the drum and keeping it, teaching the young people to carry on our traditions, our way of life as Denisutlina people. You know, the language is there. It'll come back, keep working, you know, just like the same way he's keeping the drum alive. So come on up here. We'll sing a good tune. You want to say a few words? No, he's too shy there. He's always that one res kid that's shy. That's him.
I'd like to say a few words. Thank you very much for everybody for coming up. Our elder Agnes for saying our prayer, our drummers Dwayne and his students, and some of our adult male that come and drum. I'd like to thank all the dignitaries, all the leaders that are here today, and all the good words that you've shared with us. Also, our special guest, Ron Lehman, for having shared the meaning of treaty. I usually read the John Janvier version of the treaty, Nuhetsambanasia. So, but this time I invited somebody from Treaty 6 to tell our people about the treaty, because it's important. A lot of people don't know about our treaty, and it's very, very important. And we are starting treaty education at the high school. And on Wednesday, on our Treaty 6 was signed September 9th, 1876. And that's when, in September, I said our schools need to focus on the treaties because they don't know. All of our people need to know. Both Indigenous and non-Indigenous people need to know about our treaty. The other thing too, on a lighter note, we used to have culture camps not too far from here. And every so often, our elder Alex would escape. He wasn't allowed to drive, but he jumped in his van and he'd come and sneak down to to Berry Point and sit with us all day long. And we had a sign-in sheet. So I told Alec one time, I said, you got to sign in here. I said, you sign your name here. I said, later on in the future, when you pass away, this is going to cost lots of money. I told him. So we had a really good laugh about that. He had a really good sense of humor. So anyway, so he's probably having a good chuckle about us here. We're all talking about him anyway. So he's here with us in spirit, I know for sure. And he was laughing at me one time too. I was really, really sick, and I went to see him. And I was there in ceremony for a few days. And then it was treaty days that time. And that 4 days later, I was here just dancing, just giving her. And he was laughing and he said, you barely crawled into the ceremony and here you are 4 days later, just giving her and just dancing, he said, and he was laughing at me. So anyway, I'll have the drummers sing their song, and thank you very much for listening to me. And I hope we have another successful Treaty Days celebration. Masi amasi no hene sensi. Salute ina.
Masi cho. Masi sinesa telgale anoba. Thank you all for joining us here. Appreciate it. It's been a beautiful morning. Thank you to the cooks, to the elders who lifted the pipe this morning, chief and council for signing off on the checks for you to come here, all our photographers, everybody involved. Let's give Daniel and the crew a big round of applause here. It takes a lot. And our sponsors, thank you, Bennett's Eddy Society, helping our people, Federation Construction, Strathcona Resources, Pathways Alliance, Witten LLP, TC Energy, Synovus, Enbridge, Imperial, Interpipeline, Baytex, Petro Frontier, Meg Energy, Pure Environmental, Alberta Pacific, Primco Dene, Cold Lake First Nations, Seven Lakes, Casino Dene, Tri-Res. So thank you to our sponsors for helping this event, making this event possible here this July 11th of 2024. Masi cho sineza dunzeneke. So that concludes our opening ceremonies. You're free to go. We'll be back here at 1 o'clock for our talent show. We're going to have our band set up. Kyle Desjardins and company, they're going to be joining us here this afternoon. So thank you all. We'll see you all in a bit. Students, if you signed up for the cleanup crew, you'll be starting here shortly. And grade 12. Really, I was just, I know I'm going, and you're still going, man. I was like, holy shit, that's pretty good. I hope I can learn a lot of the songs.
You will.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of dedication,
Yeah.
practice, and play for it.
Yeah.